Hello, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to give you my top 5 tips on how to get started hiking in nature, and this can be for complete beginners, whether you want to improve your physical health, your mental health, explore your local area or learn about your wildlife. These are the tips that will get you started and enjoying the outdoors. So the first thing you need to consider is how to find hikes, how to find walks that are suitable for your lifestyle and your fitness level. So there's lots of great options, there's loads of great websites online. My favourite one for this area is Walk Highlands. That has some great walks all around Scotland, and when you go on the website you get information on the route and information on the difficulty, terrain, length, and also photos and descriptions of the entire walk that you can, screenshot, print out and take with you so you feel confident when you're out and about. There's other websites in the UK, so there's like Ramblers or UK Walking, and if you live near or in national parks, there's often lots of great information on those websites. Another great option is social media. So this is particularly good when it comes to Facebook, and you can join hiking, walking groups and maybe even meet people that way, and they can take you out and you can go out with new people and learn about your local area. And there's also mobile apps, so I use Outdoor Active as an app when I'm out and about, and that helps me navigate, but it also gives me route options when I'm out and if I want to try a different route, or when I'm at home I want to find a new walk. Then these are all fantastic options to find lots of options for your lifestyle, your fitness level, and you can get started. So the second thing you'll want to consider is the kit that you take with you. This doesn't have to be too expensive, it doesn't have to be too complicated. I think when you go into outdoor stores you feel the need to buy lots of these things, lots of these fancy things, and it's really not needed. But there are a few key things that I would recommend purchasing if you don't have already. The first is a decent rucksack. Doesn't have to be super expensive, just something that will be big enough for you to carry all your stuff with you. Useful, they have different compartments so you can store things in different areas. I'd recommend getting ones with some support. So this one here has these 2 straps, and this makes it more comfortable to walk around and prevents back problems if you are carrying a bit more of a burden with you. The second thing is footwear, what you're wearing on your feet. So this is something I would invest a bit more money in. You want to be comfortable, you don't want to be getting blisters, you want to feel supported, and you want to have warm and dry feet. So I actually have a pair, so I'm vegan, so I didn't want a leather pair of walking boots, so it was quite difficult to find, but I did get a pair from Will's Vegan Store, and they've lasted me now for 3 years and still in fantastic condition, and considering the amount I'm out in them, which is sometimes once a day with the dog, I just can't fault them. So I'll leave a link for those below if you're interested. The third thing is weather appropriate clothing. Waterproofs is a key one. I'm actually wearing 2 coats today, if you can see, so I've got my fully lined waterproof over the top because it's a bit risk of showers today and it was a bit drizzly earlier, and this is a nice lightweight layer that I can take off and keep in my bag if I don't need it. And then I have a warmer faux down layer underneath because it's still quite chilly in the Highlands in April. So these are my sort of go-to for coats, and then I just usually wear fleeces, and you can have waterproof and showerproof trousers as well. So depending on your climate and where you are in the world, just ensuring you have weather appropriate clothing. In Scotland that basically means waterproofs. The fourth thing you want to consider is something to carry around food and water with you if you're going out for longer. So a water bottle, maybe some Tupperware or wax wraps, or if you want to take a hot drink with you, a thermos. I've gone through a few thermoses in my time, and some really cheap ones that leaked and didn't hold the heat at all. So again, you want to spend a little bit more money, nothing too crazy, a little bit more money if you do want a hot cup of tea or hot food when you're out with you. Some great brands are Stanley, and also Hydro Flask, and again I'll leave links to all my recommendations down below. And then you also want to consider safety kit, so how you're going to keep yourself safe when you're out and about. So that's first aid kit, that's charged mobile phone, anything you might need for sunscreen, insect repellent, and anything that's in your climate that could be causing a risk basically. But if you've got a first aid kit, you're pretty much covered. And then that's it, that's basically all the kit you're going to need, and you can get started. The third thing that you want to consider is how to keep yourself safe when you're out in nature. You want to feel comfortable and confident and not worrying too much when you're out and about, which I think for newbie hikers can be a little bit worrying. So things to consider are, first of all, to be prepared. So make sure you've checked your route before you go, you've checked how to get there, you've checked what you might encounter on your route, if there's going to be any particularly dangerous things like river crossings for instance, or scrambling or going up hills, and so you'll feel prepared and have all the right kit with you. Also need to check the weather and make sure that, again, you have the right kit, and if the weather is particularly bad and you're thinking of going, for instance, up a hill, you perhaps don't do it and you just safety first. Another thing you want to consider is really important is telling people where you're going and when you expect to be back, and always having a mobile phone on you so that you have that kind of buddy system in place. If anything does go wrong, you can get help quickly. And then thirdly is getting used to some basic navigation. Again, it depends on how much you're wanting to hike. Maybe you're just wanting to do familiar local rambles and you perhaps don't need to know much navigation. But I would recommend getting familiar with reading a map, maybe even using a compass, and some really simple navigation information. You can find lots of tutorials on YouTube, and that will just make you feel a lot more confident when you're out and about. Another great option is to use apps. There's some really good apps now on your phone, like Outdoor Active, like I mentioned earlier. That's something I use when I'm out and about, but I would always be able to read a map on top of that, just to make sure you're extra safe. The fourth thing you want to consider is how you're going to build your confidence when you're out and about. There's no rush, like I said. It's really good to start small, maybe pick some familiar walks, some short walks. If your navigation skills and physical fitness isn't quite up to it yet, then don't go up a big hill, you'll put yourself off. Start small, start gentle, and it's a great way of practicing your navigational skills, because if you know where you're going already, it's great to just check that with a map and you can practice in a safe setting, and you can stick to well waymarked routes as well, which is really handy. And go out with other people, maybe new people, like if you've joined Facebook groups, you can go out with them, or people in your life that already go walking quite a lot, or even people in your life that don't, and you can figure it out together. The key is just to not rush it. You're meant to have fun, that's the point, and the more fun you have, the more likely you're going to do it regularly, so just be gentle with yourself. And my fifth and final tip centres around how to build walking in nature, hiking in nature as a habit. So it's something that you can do regularly rather than on a one-off, because that really is the best way for it to give you the most benefits, both for your physical and mental well-being. So one way to do that is, like I said earlier, find a range of walks, different lengths and different distances, so that you can always have an option depending on how much time you have and what your lifestyle is like. And schedule those in, be organised with it, schedule them in, and also look at the weather and make the most of the best weather days. And also you can track your results. That's a great way of keeping motivated, you can see, track the amount of ground you've covered, and you can even keep a journal maybe, and when you're out and about you can make notes, or maybe when you come back you can make a note on what you liked about the walk, what you learnt about yourself, about the local area, and just keep at it regularly, and you really will notice a massive difference in your health. So that's it. That's my top 5 tips to get you started. If you want more information about hiking or rambling in nature, I actually have an ebook that I'll link down below, and it's the simple guide to nature rambling, and it goes into all of the stuff we talked about today, but also goes into a bit more detail, gives lots of links and recommendations, and covers stuff like how to be mindful out on your walks, and how to let it inspire your creativity, how to ID your local wildlife, all sorts of things that I'm hoping to also cover on this channel, but I'll link that below. And thank you very much for watching. If you want to see more of this type of content, please do consider subscribing, and I will see you next week.